This is Rebecca, the Steampunk Planner. I hope you like my new look. We are actually going back in time. Actually, we're just going back to the December videos that I did not get a chance to edit and get up because we had family things that needed to be taken care of before I was able to do any videos. So apologies that these didn't get out in December, and I hope you don't mind me sharing them now. So one of the things that I discussed near the end of December, or the beginning of December near the end of the year is what I mean, is preparations for what I am wanting to do in my new B5 planners for work and for memory keeping. So you've seen me work in ink, you've seen me work with colored pencils and ink tints and different things like that. This time I want to try markers. And there are a lot of artists out there that do work in marker colored pencil combination, just like there are painters, which markers are a form of painting, don't get me wrong. But there are people who use acrylics, watercolors, oils, and will do colored pencil over top. We are not doing colored pencil this time. I found in my previous testing, colored pencil really adds too much wax to the paper. As much as I love it, wax on top of Tomoe River paper really was not fun to write over. So here you can see I have my Tombow markers. I have a couple collections, skin collections, my gray collection. I have earth tones, and then I picked up here and there a green collection, odds and ends that I didn't have in each of those collections. So I pulled all of those pens out and chose the markers that I wanted to use for Christmas. So here is how I am trying to decide on the colors I want to use, the color families, and how these are going to blend with each other. That is a major focal point that you need to make sure of. It's not just what colors you want. You need to find the blending. And I also wanted to see how Tombow markers blend, because they're supposed to be really good blending markers. And what I found in this instance is they do blend well, but there are some hiccups with them. They're definitely made more, in my book, from what I'm thinking, they're definitely made more for doing little things in your planner, nothing big. Now, I'm pretty sure the company recommends that you use them if you're painting on probably a mixed media paper. I don't think when they came out with this it was Tomoe River that they were focusing on, but that's what we're using today. So I'm going to go over exactly what I did, exactly what I found. This is fast paced, or I did speed this up. If I didn't, we would be sitting here discussing this over an hour and a half, and I don't want to do that. Number one thing that I found, do not do all of this at once. It's not just the, well, I'm sticking my hand in it and everything, because I painted this. I'm right-handed, so I painted the left side first and then went to the right side. And there I'm just looking to see if I'm going through the paper, if I'm applying too much and the paper was too wet, is the other side coming through? And so far, so good at this moment. Now, the colors I started with is the 055, is that very bright yellow. And then I went into the color 993. I used that in combination with the 055 to be able to start adding the 3D effect of this star so that it looks like it has those points and actually the valleys and the heights, and so it looks more than just a pinwheel and more than just something flat on a paper. So this next color I'm using is 026. And you can see here now, I'm still using the 055 to blend, but think about it, because I didn't. How many layers have I already put down? How wet is this paper? Because one of the things that I did find is if you want these markers, especially specific pigments, the darker, the more difficult. If you really want them to blend, you are going to be going over them while they're wet. You're not going to cap your pens. You can see my hand off to the side. I have the caps in my hand. I set the pen onto the cap. I don't snap the cap shut. I did start doing that, and by the time I uncapped it and went to go blend, nothing would blend. So you have to work wet with this. Now, I'm not using water. I'm not using the Tombow blending marker. I'm using the markers themselves, the colors that I want on here. So be aware of that. The paper is going to get extremely wet. And in that, the more it gets wet, the more bleed you're going to get from the opposite side. Now, I did not have very much writing behind this, and the writing that I did have was using my Diatribus document ink in black. So it is water resistant. It's not waterproof, but it is water resistant, so it doesn't smudge or blend or anything like that when water hits it. But that doesn't mean that constant wetting of this ink is going to work either. So I've blended all of that, and now I'm going into using the 027. Originally, when I was deciding to do this look of garland, I was going to add the Christmas branches from the tree and everything like that. And I decided as I worked on this star, no. You saw before that I did do swatching like that, but no. So I've added in, just to let you know, I did add in the color 885 so that I can pick up some of the bead and the ornaments, because the star is supposed to be reflective. But I'm slowing this down kind of so I can show you that I am preparing to, or sampling the grays. You've got cool grays and you've got warm grays, and I've got two cools, one warm, and I'm seeing how they blend and work together. And I'm liking the look. But you can see all the testing that I've done, including the greens that I had planned on using for the Christmas tree, and then decided, no, I'm just going to use them for accents, as if the garland is on the tree, but not that we can see it. So back to this. I'm going to be using these grays for this top ornament. Have you ever seen the ornaments out there that are kind of like a pearlized or opalized type of look? They have like a silverish sheen to it, but they also have a lot of pink, a lot of white, and they do pick up the surrounding colors when they're hanging near something. That's what my plan was for this. I wanted to do this because I'd already put the stickers down before I made the decision to do this look. And I didn't want to have to go over the stickers, remove the stickers, anything like that. So the color I'm actually using right now, this beautiful green color, is 312. It's like a chai color or a matcha color, and I love this color. It's one that I use often. So this color I started with was the N95, and right now I'm using the N65, but I also came in with the 850 to add in a little bit of pink for its surroundings. And I'm making sure that I've got reflections, a reflective surface, everything like that on this, because it's supposed to be shiny but not metallic. It's supposed to reflect, but again, not metallic. Now the part that is metallic is this wonderful cap. It is silver. On most ornaments, they're silver. So that's, or at least most of mine are silver. So I've gone that route here. My red ones, as you can see, are in gold. So I have brought in more gold into it. But with this, you want to make sure with metallic that it is going to reflect what's around it. That's what makes it look metallic. But it's not going to reflect like a mirror or anything. It's going to be distorted. And with this being round, it's going to have a lot of distortions. The yellow I just used, which is the 055, I dotted in there as if there were lights around it, and the beading that's hanging below it. Not to mention using the 885 to add in more red, and the 837 to add more depth. And then once I finished that, allowing the ornament, the rest of it to dry, I did add a little bit more depth with the gray and the N65. So to show you how I did the red ornaments, I started off with the 800 and 850 on that, and then I went straight into that gorgeous yellow, which is the same yellow I used on the ornament, and that one is the 993. That's the medium color that I used on the ornament. I'm coming back now using the 850 to blend that off a little bit. And you can see here that I didn't get much of a blend, so I am having to compensate by coming in with the 885 and the 933 to try to blend off and add in a little bit of rounding of this ornament. Again, I'm not going to come in with colored pencil, which that is normally what some artists will use to create more shape to the item. I'm going to use that in my markers. So I'm coming in, and because I'm doing that, I'm not just coloring this in. I'm coloring it with movement. So I'm making sure that my brush strokes are laying down in proper ways. But doing that, again, creates more of a wet page. And you can see the corner ornament, I got some bleed through because that was not a waterproof ink that I used. That was the, which one did I use? That was my using the Plague and my Raven pen, and wearing Yule is not waterproof. So now I'm using a color that I actually got from my grandmother, apologies, and that one is the 723, surprisingly enough, and the 722. So I dotted those in with all of the colors to give it a more of a glitter look. And then this large one, I decided not to do it. It's going to be more metallic. So I hope you like it, and I hope to do more.